I'm going to make a fun tag for, I think I'm going to do some school spirit, but this works for any things that we're trying to do. I'm going to go to my flat shapes to get a base. And if you have a lock on something, that just means you need to use your tokens to buy it, so do that. I'm going to get the heart. Maybe. I'm going to get like a rectangle. Say I have a square. I'll just stretch it. Because I want it to be more of a rectangle. So, when you're resizing, 2 arrows is the free resize. Means I can increase the size in one direction. If I have it in the fixed resize, it increases in all directions. So you can tell your size here, up and down. Y is green, 28.6. My X is 41.5. I'm going to go to like 50-ish. And my Z being 3.5, we usually aim for like 3. When you only want to change one, make sure you have 2 arrows. So I'm just going to type 3, and it'll only change the height. Now the very next thing I need to do is make sure it's flat on my work surface. So I'm going to come over to move, which by the way, you can go up here, size, move. I want the Z, if I turn it, you'll see the Z is up and down. I want that to be 0. That means flat on the work surface. All right. So I need a shape. I need it, depending upon the shape, either the X or the Y around 50. I guess your largest size should be 50. And then color doesn't matter. So if you want to change the color, you can. I'm going to leave mine white for now. I'll change the colors of the things I put on it. Now I'm going to add some things to my design. So if I want to do text, let me change the color. Arial Bold is a really good font to be using. If I only want like one big word, that's easy. Like if I'm going to have several words, I probably want to have them in different boxes so that I can move them around. I wonder what a Let's Go Cavs would be like. Now, what you want to do is get one done. I'm going to switch to fixed resize for now. And maybe I'll do like, let's go. Whoa! I was going to move it, not, I'm going to move it. If I do like, let's, and, okay, so it's flat on there, but it's really thin. So I'm going to make sure I have 2 arrows, and I'm going to make it taller. Whoop. Come on. Nope. There we go. And remember, you want to have at least 3, a little more than 3 if you push it in. In fact, I like to push it in, so I'm going to go down. Make sure it's not coming through. It's not. And then I'm going to make it 1 more taller. Oh, I don't know why it does that. Taller. There we go. So I have it at 4 millimeters, but 1 millimeter is probably squished in. So that's why I'm 4 instead of 3. So since it's exactly like, now I've got my size perfect, I'm going to duplicate that for my next word, which I want to be go. And I'm writing these with capital letters. Oh, and by the way, notice, so the thing is, when you duplicate, it's going to be, the location's going to be similar already, and all the size and shape will be the same. So I'm just using this, dragging it over. A lot of times people grab it and move it. Free dragging, you could be pushing in all directions and you don't know it. So using the move tools, either like this, or if you grab this, you can only go one direction at a time. If I try to move this way, it's not going to let me. But then when you let go, you can go other directions. Whoop, like that. So I'm going to just undo a bunch of those, get it back to where I want it, and keep moving it over. I don't like that in a capital. I don't like the way it looks. I'm wondering if maybe I want this to be all capitals. We don't often want to do that, but this is like a cheer. What? So now I need to move this over more. I move that over a tiny bit. Spacing is important. All right, so I've got a let's go. I'm going to duplicate again. And I'm going to write calves. Because that's us, the calves. And I'm planning on this being the biggest word, but the duplicating gets me right. It's already attached, so I don't have to mess with any of that. Now I just need to make it bigger, right? I like doing it that way. What? It saves me a lot of steps. Now, I have just put let's go calves. I feel like we need an exclamation point, don't you? How about that? Let's go calves. You could also put little symbols. I could put a small DA on here. For the interest of speeding you along, adding text or symbols, same thing. At least 3 millimeters tall, squished in and so it's attached. You should be able to turn it sideways so you can see they're not floating, right? And if I click on it, I can see it goes below, so I know I'm good. But it should stick up. When you turn it sideways, you should see it stick up. Not a ton, that's a decent amount. So if you're adding other shapes, same thing, move things around. In case you forgot, your rotate tool is here. So the best way to rotate is to click, not grab it and move, but click, then grab a handle for the color that you want to go. So if I want to go this way, I grab a blue. See that? Undo. If I want to go like this way, I grab a red. All right. So go put your decorations on and arrange your spacing nicely. Fill your space well. Make sure that you're using capitals and spelling appropriately. Like, it's okay to have all lowercase if that's what you're going for in your design. It's okay to have all capitals if that's what you're going for in your design. It's okay to have a mixture as long as it makes sense. Not just, oh, I forgot to capitalize. There's a difference. But after you're done decorating, you'll come back and the next part will show you how to put on your ring. All right, we're gonna add our ring. The ring is in basic shapes. So you grab your ring. What I like to do when it first plops on, use the move tool to get it where you want it to be. So I could maybe put it at the end if I want. I could put it in the top corner. I kind of like corners. And again, I like to use this because it helps me move like with more control. Then, once I have it floating over where I want it to be, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to check my size. Make sure it's on free resize. The two arrows, click this if you need to. We do not want this to be 3.6 millimeters tall. In fact, our base is 3 millimeters tall, so 2.8 is a good measurement for your Z. Then we need to move it down, right? We need to get it flat. Don't try to do that by hand. Go over to the move. So you can click here to go to move, or remember, if we click here, we get our tools back, and there's. Then in Z, put 0. So both your base and your ring, double check them. My base is at 0, my ring is at 0. Your letter shouldn't be at 0, your decoration shouldn't be at 0. Look at that. And then everything is, and you always want to look underneath. Nothing should be hanging off this edge. Nothing should be sticking out below. Now that ring looks like it's a little cut off, so I'm actually going to move it this way, that way. There we go. I think that's a little better. Also, turn your picture. A lot of people leave their stuff like in a weird way. You always want to rotate your design because then the preview shows you a nice picture of it. So rotate your design so we can clearly see it. Then you're going to click finish. And you're going to write a word to describe your tag. So if it's like, if you did an I love kittens, call it kittens. If you did something for gamers or video games, maybe put games. So I'm just going to call this calves, and then a space, and then the word tag. So you need to have it, aim for 2 words. If you need 3, okay, but keep these as like caveman talk, like you do for note taking. So this is a calves tag. Make sure it has that name. If it doesn't have tag, Miss G won't find it. And make sure they have a space, because if it doesn't have a space, then you don't have the word tag because it's part of another word that you just made up. So I'm going to click done. Now, if I want to do something similar, like maybe I want to keep the base the same, or maybe I want to make another version of this, but like add a fun design if I have time. Click copy to make another copy.